Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today I have set number 21150. This is the Minecraft Skeleton BigFig with Magma Cube, containing 142 pieces and retailing for $14.99 in the United States. This was released as part of the Minecraft BigFig Series 1. I think it was fall 2018 or January, no, it's probably January 2019, as far as release wave. But, you know, I don't buy Minecraft sets all that often, and, you know, generally, not a huge fan of them, but I did think that these BigFigs had looked interesting back when they were first released. It was like, maybe I'll buy the Steve one if it goes on clearance, and lo and behold, the Steve one went on clearance, and I bought it for $5, and I really liked it, actually. I was pleasantly surprised. Like, it exceeded my already somewhat higher than average expectations. And, you know, after that I kind of regretted having not bought the Alex one, which had also been $5. So, you know, I was like, maybe I should have, but I hadn't, so I lived with it. And, you know, they'd all been gone from all the Walmarts and Targets in the area, but when I went after Christmas clearance hunting at Walmart, they had a single one of these skeletons that they'd sold out of before, so it must have been like a store return, or maybe they found it hidden in the back somewhere. Possibly hidden in the back, because, well, I mean, it almost looks like this is a Christmas gift wrapped up, and someone didn't want it and returned it, because they peeled up a little bit of it with the tape. But anyway, this was sitting on the shelf, I scanned it, it was $3.50, and I was like, yeah, the skeleton's my least favorite, but at $3.50, can't go wrong. So the skeleton BigFig himself is overall the same size as Steve. I have Steve here for comparison's sake. He just looks a tiny bit taller because Steve doesn't have a helmet on. But, you know, other than that, they're like the same proportions. But the skeleton is built up very differently from the other two because of the fact that, you know, it's a skeleton and, you know, it's not supposed to have legs that are as thick or arms that are as thick. So, you know, I'm glad that they didn't just reskin the Steve build in order to make it a skeleton. But they do have click hinges for the legs. You can pose them, but since they are thinner, and, you know, you can't really get it into a walking pose, I guess maybe sort of like that, but it's very fragile. Or, not very fragile, but very unbalanced, you know, wants to fall over still. But, like, it'll even, like, more so than Steve, it will fall over if you just have it standing up. It's just a little bit too front heavy. You gotta, like, lean his head back in order to make him stand separately. But they do give you a base. It's dark red because apparently the skeleton is in the nether, which, you know, that's fine. Skeletons do spawn in the nether. It's just not the location I would typically first associate with them. But, you know, that's a fair choice. The hips are attached to the body with 2 click hinges, so there's no motion there. Like, I guess you could lean him forward a little bit, and it will pull out the second click hinge. So you can do that if you want to, I guess. But I think it's designed just so that there's a really thin connection point that's still strong between the body and the legs. And, you know, the body looks pretty respectable, I guess. They have this top rib here on a 1x3 jumper plate with 2 studs in the center, just to make it expand outwards a little bit. And his arms are on ball joints, so they can move in and out a little bit, as well as up and down and all around. So I guess that's sort of inaccurate-ish, but, you know, I guess a little bit of side-to-side motion isn't too bad. And, you know, it does allow for a little bit better posing. It's just maybe less accurate to the game. But he does have a bow and arrow, which, you know, with these 1x2 tiles removed, that is all one big new specialized piece. Sort of looks like a pickaxe piece, but it's missing the, like, handle. It ends at that area. But speaking of that, I wonder why they didn't just make the pickaxe piece and this the same piece and just attach a plate to the pickaxe one. I don't know. But you can obviously swap this to the other arm just by, you know, switching this, and, you know, if you wanted to make your skeleton use his other hand. But they do also give you a spring-loaded shooter here, which shoots off brown spring-loaded shooter bolts, which is an exclusive color for those so far. So, you know, you do get an extra included, like always. I shot off my extra and it landed behind stuff, so I don't want to go grab it and show you. But the head is, you know, pretty fine. You can have him just look like a normal skeleton easily by removing the helmet. There are no weird colors in the back. I know one of the complaints I had about Steve was that his arms are a little bit weird, where, you know, the back of his sleeve just doesn't exist. That doesn't happen here, so that's nice. And he does have the 2 studs on the top of his head, which in this case actually allow you to put a helmet on. There's some blue on the inside of the helmet, which is a tad strange, but you won't see that most of the time. And if we just attach the helmet on there, you know, it blocks a little tiny bit of his eyes, but it looks pretty reasonable. And, you know, yeah, I like it. It's a little bit, makes his forehead look a little bit big, but then again, you can also take this and swap it and put it on the Steve one. And, you know, I think the helmet might be a little bit too thick on the top, but just having the ability to put armor pieces on these buildable figures is pretty cool. And, you know, I appreciate that it gives a little bit of customizability. And all of the Wave 1 BigFigs come with a little side mob character, and the skeleton comes with these little Magma Cube. And, you know, it's designed to be, you know, at this scale, it's one of the smallest of the Magma Cubes. So, it actually can do this, but it only has the one segment on the bottom. It uses a 1x4 tile, which actually is not a new print. Like the BigFig's faces are all general new prints, but this one is not, because it actually was used for one of the minifigure scale sets, the Nether Railway in 2017, where it's actually, in that set, it is supposed to be one of the largest Magma Cubes, which, you know, just some funny things with scale there. But I think that it's perfectly appropriate for this, and, you know, this looks good from all the angles. From the bottom it has one of these newer Minecraft bracket pieces that allow this to actually still attach to studs. And, you know, I just like that it has this feature where you lift it up and it'll do its bouncing thing. It makes a cool noise too. Not, like, accurate to the game, but still. I like this quite a bit. I think it probably looks better overall than the parrot that came with Steve. But not as good as the chicken that came with Alex. Overall, I don't think I like this one as much as I like the Steve one, just because, you know, I don't know, there's something about the Steve one that just looks cool. This one's probably better functioning, but I think it's a less, I mean, it is still recognizable, don't get me wrong, but it's a less recognizable thing. I think I do probably like it better without the helmet, just because the helmet makes him look a little weird, but, you know, the helmet, like, the helmet independently looks good. It looks like a Minecraft helmet. It just doesn't look great when attached to the top of their heads. I wonder if you were to shrink its height down by one like stud, and make it a little shorter, and like shrink their heads. Yeah, it would make it harder to switch between, you know, having helmet and not having helmet. So probably worse for play in that regard. But it would maybe look a little bit more normal to me. So overall, you know, I think that it's good. The other thing that you can do is move that there and stick the Magma Cube on the base with him, which is what I also did with Steve and his parrot, and this is probably how I'll display them. But I think, you know, having these together is kind of cool. It looks nice, and I'm definitely glad I picked this up for $3.50, and kind of wished I bought Alex for $5 a couple months ago. Overall, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of these Minecraft BigFigs, who's your favorite, who's your least favorite, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.